I'm Joey Tedesco, and you're watching the Cartoon Palooza. As you may recall, last year I saw Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and I had some good things to say about it. Although it took creative liberties with the source material, it managed to keep the same goofy tone that made me love the book in the first place. Throw in some great characters, wacky animation, and a plot that parodies the biggest disaster movies of our time, and you have made me into a fan. So when I heard that there was going to be a sequel, I was personally excited. So much so that it would be released on my birthday. And then I found out that the original directors wouldn't be on board for production. The movie wouldn't resemble the original sequel at all, some of the voice actors weren't going to reprise their roles, and that this movie would come out in the year of animation schlock. So, on my birthday, September 27th, 2013, I went to go see Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. How did it pan out? Let's find out. So our movie opens with most of the material from the first film. Actually, you'll notice that a lot, which is the movie replaying most of the same scenarios and even the same clips from the first film.
When the weather evolved into a disaster of epic portions, and the machines started creating dangerous living food, I had to face the truth. It was time to put an end to my Flintstone fun.
I understand that this is for storytelling purposes and keeping the audience up to speed, but when it takes up a portion of the film's running time, you could owe it to being filler for the lack of Chris Miller and Phil Lord's funny storytelling. Or if they were consistent between what they were playing from the first film, they would have remembered that Flint lost half his hair during destroying the machine. The citizens of Chew and Swallow are sent off to the island for cleanup, and Flint lands a job with a corporation that may have their own agenda. I don't think I'm spoiling much since the movie makes it clear that the leader is going to be the villain.
Now kids, you'll almost certainly never be me.
I would say it's intentional since it seems that the first film, Bruce Campbell's character was blatantly introduced as a villain, but other times when they make it seem like there was a great twist, well, it isn't. Now seeing that the villain from the last movie was both the hilarious and maniacal Bruce Campbell, it makes me wonder who they got for the villain in this film.
On my word as a hologram, you shall all return home before you know it.
Oh, come on, that's Will Forte. He's already doing a voice in the movie. Are you saying he's playing two characters in the same film? So taking the place for Bruce Campbell is Chester V. He is Flint's idol and a scientist who built his own corporation off the ideas and inventions of most talented inventors. Chester also surrounds himself with hip gadgets, acts like a hippie, wears a black shirt, jeans, and yeah, you can see where this is going. Actually, I find it weird that they would have the villain modeled off of a man who recently passed away a couple of years. Though to be fair, they try to remove him away from his Apple counterpart by animating him in sequences that look straight out of Old Spice commercials.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me.
Flint is sent back to the island by Chester because the food is now mutated and could go back to destroying the world. Therefore, he hands Flint what he tells him could turn off the machine. That's quite literally called the BS USB. Yeah, still not convinced he's the villain? This causes the gang from the first film to band together and constantly shout food puns along the way.
This should be easy as
Hi. Those are some tasty-looking jellyfish.
Oh no, we're
Toast!
French toast. 1 minute later, and we would have been food for that food.
The dessert creatures are especially sweet.
Time to banana split out of my club.
My problems are just a hill of coffee beans. Let's snap, crackle, and pop out of here. How the ho-hos can this be happening?
You see that, folks? This is reminding me of Food Fight. Freaking Food Fight. We got some lame food puns, a villain that doesn't measure up, and, frankly, the same stuff we've seen in the first film. We haven't even gotten to the end credits. What am I going to be doing here?
Yes, feed your rage and let the anger flow from within.
Animat, is that you?
Yes, and this Dark Lord commands you to rip this movie a new one. Join me and realize that these Sony cartoons are nothing more than colorful fodder.
No, I can do this! I survived Shark Tale, damn it!
I'm gonna cut the cheese.
Yo, Animat, got some room over there on the dark side? So as this movie's advertised, the machine Flint builds starts to create food animals that range from shrimp pansies, crocodile supremes, and cheese spiders. While these characters are colorful and certainly creative in design and execution from their animation, I'm gonna have to be honest. It's a mixed bag for me. For one, it's creepy. They're food. They're processed meat and fish turned into living meat and fish. You don't know whether to feel threatened or to just eat it, or at the same time eat it and feel threatened by eating it. Second, it's clear that they're parodying creature features in monster movies like Mighty Joe Young or Jurassic Park. However, when Sam Sparks realizes that the animals might not try to escape or destroy the world, while realizing the evil corporation, literally called Evil, is behind the captivity for their own nefarious needs, it turns into The Lost World. Yeah, the crappy sequel to Jurassic Park with the pro-hippie anti-corporation bullcrap. This is serving as a reasonable parody for the film. No, I can't resist. My anger, it's flowing.
Feel it! Let me have your rage!
Oh, come on. You're not even impersonating the right character. You're doing the villain from Dungeons & Dragons the movie.
So?
Who the hell has even seen Dungeons & Dragons the movie? So back to the film. When Flint realizes that his idol was just trying to use him for his invention, and that he's better off not having friends as opposed to people he could use for a means to an end, kinda like the last film, he realizes the foodimals are worth saving and defeats Chester. Does it make sense that the animals that have taken over the island for the people have called home for years are still fine to go about taking it over? Or the fact that the original plan consisted of Chester using what the food animals were originally used for? Food? Nah, at least we learned that Flint has friends both old and new. Isn't that just lovely?
So tell me, Joey, does the anger compel you to join me in the dark side of criticism?
Are you kidding? I still enjoyed this movie.
What?
Okay, so it rehashes a lot of the same things from the first film. The plot has more holes than Swiss cheese, and it's definitely not an adaptation of the actual Cloudy sequel. But at the end of the day, it manages to be an entertaining sequel to a movie while trying new things. The movie does improve in certain areas where the plot and secondary characters are lacking. The animation is an obvious improvement, adding to the comedic timing and expressions. Even small things from the first film that carry themselves into the second one, like the gag where Earl's chest hairs tingle when trouble is near. Even some witty jokes like this.
Can I say something?
Apparently you can.
While most of the characters keep their off-kilter, likable personalities, Flint's dad seems to be affected the most. I think since his character arc was resolved in the first film, it leaves us with the least interesting character in the movie. Which is a shame since James Caan is a great actor in his own right. I don't feel it was given much, and while I do think they try to connect his story arc with Flint realizing that friendship means more than using people for a means to an end, it's not as strong as the miscommunication in the first film. But with that said, you still have some entertaining characters from the first film and some more. Barb the Ape is a combination of things I like, Kristen Shaw's voice, and apes. Earl returns, but not with the voice of Mr. T. But rather than making the character a Mr. T impersonation, Terry Crews manages to give life to the character while making it his own like Michael Gambon did for Dumbledore. So as far as the movie goes, I think there's enough to make it entertaining in its own right. While the story is lacking, it makes up with great humor, great animation, and great characters. I say it's worth it and give it a watch for yourself.
So, if you're going to give this a positive review, then what the fridge am I doing here in the first place?
Oh, what? Oh, yeah. I just needed you for a liaisons dans the rue.
Oh, yeah, what the who now? What's going on? No, seriously, dude, what are you doing?
Hello?
No! No! No, turn it off! No, please don't turn it off!
Not after 24 hours, which will consist of you watching Jonathan from Hotel Transylvania on a loop until you appreciate Sony Pictures animation a little more.
Check it out, I'm a Franken homie!
I like to hit him alone. You meet so many awesome people in the youth hostels. Speaking of awesome, that key thing is killing it.
Yeah, that's what you get for giving that movie the seal of garbage. Oh, that reminds me. What's your favorite sequel? Comment and let me know. For me, it's a toss-up between The Godfather Part 2 and The Dark Knight. Now I'm Joey Tedesco, and thanks for watching.
I'll give a positive review to Surf's Up! Or I'll say something nice about Open Season! Just please! Just stop, Joey, please! Ah! Stop! What did I do to deserve this? Oh, well, okay, yeah, technically, yeah, there is that in there. Oh God, please, no, no! No, someone, please!